Every morning is an opportunity to connect with Jesus. Whether you're looking to get started or looking to grow more, DDPC is for you. Join us as we connect with Jesus together.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome today to this episode of Daily Devotions with Pastore Cristobal. Hey, Jeanette Lynn Willis, good to see you. Samantha Andres, Melissa Yerington, good to have you. Tom Keefe, welcome, guys. Thank you for being on. Sarah Carlack, nice to see you. Tony Fetchy, way to be, my man. Good to see you on today. Nancy Negron jumping on and in the chat. Good to see you. Welcome, all of you. Thank you, Kathy Lakowski, for being with us. Paula Lavish, now on this morning. Welcome to you. Deb Click is our YouTube scribe. She is on with us. Julie Chandler, she is on today. Stan and Connie, good to see you. Rocco Baldino, Kimmy, nice to have you on. Matt Gill, nice to see you, bud. God bless you, buddy. Elizabeth Hibbard, nice to have you on today. Elizabeth Orlando now on with us. Good to see you as well. God bless all of you as you are waking up and getting ready for a brand new week. Gene Hickman on with us. Grace Jimenez, good to see you today. God bless you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Man, well, we are on episode 586. I was a couple minutes late getting on. Excuse me. One of the reasons is because I had to re-edit the title because I had it listed as 865, and I thought, man, we're way up there, but it was 586, so I had to make that little change. Hey, Joe, good to see you on. Mr. Duhamel, Mike B, now on with us. God bless you, bud. And so today is episode 586. If you're new to DDPC, this is a morning devotional where we just get into the Word of God and just kind of get our spirits focused and centered on the Lord as we're heading into our new day. And so we welcome you. DDPC stands for Daily Devotions with Pastor Chris, and that is me, Pastor Chris. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being a part and for joining on today. So when I left you guys last Thursday, we had been knee deep into Jesus' Sermon on the Mount when he began with the Beatitudes. And so we talked about what Beatitudes are and about why they're important, and and Jesus really kind of turning a lot of teaching on its head, and really challenging the people of that day with some pretty intense teachings. And so we're going to wrap out the Beatitudes today. And excuse me. Oh, Nancy, that's okay. We'll wait for you. Go ahead, jump off. Oh, you can't hear me. She says you got to jump off and jump back on because she can't hear me, but she can't hear me saying that we're going to wait for her either. So hopefully, should I play a joke on her and just do this? That would be rude, right? So anyway, so I want to start with we're going to kind of wrap out the Beatitudes today, and Mike B, I appreciate your optimism. He said it's a beautiful day that the Lord has made, even if it's a rainy one. That's because where you live, it may be rainy, more coastal, but here on the hills of Southbury, it is snowy and icy and sloppy and a mess out there. But it is a good day. It's a day full of his blessings and his faithfulness. That's what the Bible tells us. And so you are right. It's a great day in that. So I want to go back to Matthew's gospel, Matthew chapter 5. I'm going to read three verses, Matthew 5, 10 through 12. And here's what it says. It says, "Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. And man, I'll tell you, this is a tough one to swallow. I can understand character traits. I can get being a peacemaker. I understand, those kinds of things. But man, like, to consider it a blessing when you're persecuted, that's a hard one to swallow. And I think for part of that is because we have all grown up in a society that demands rights. We have rights. I know my rights, you know, and that's a common reaction to any injustice that we experience today. That's not right, and I have rights. And and I mean, I am all for human rights. Don't get me wrong. I think that all men are created equal and that no man should be declared guilty until proven innocent. I believe in that. I believe in our justice system, even though it's not 100% foolproof. I think it's a pretty reliable and steady system. And so I love that here in America, we have a right as a Christian to worship the Lord freely. A big main, foundational reason for why the new world was even discovered was because of this idea of religious freedom, and so that still exists here in our country. And we have an ability to worship openly and freely, unlike anywhere else on earth. um, you can live on the same street as you can be a Christian and have Muslims and Jewish people and Catholic people and atheists and Satan worshipers. I mean, you could have everybody on your same street, and everybody has that right to worship, and that's pretty awesome. But here's the reality: Jesus was teaching that you need to have the right attitude with this beatitude. And he's saying that you're blessed when you face persecution for the sake of righteousness. Now, let's be honest. The most severe persecution that you and I have probably faced in this country is being ignored or being looked over for a position or something of that nature because of our faith. But think about the context of the followers of Christ and the persecution that they were dealing with in that day. And so when Jesus says, "Blessed are you when you're persecuted for righteousness," it's more than name calling. I tend to think back to the early Christians who were literally dipped in boiling pitch, impaled onto a stick, and then lit on fire for to light up Nero's pathways whenever he would have a party. That was his gift to his guests, was burning Christians to light the pathway to his palace. I think of little children who were wrapped in bloodied sheepskins and then thrown into the beasts in the Colosseum to be torn into shreds and digested. That's the kind of level of persecution that they faced. I think of the faithful martyrs who were put onto into who were thrown into spits and roasted slowly over fires until they were literally cooked to death inside of their iron cages that they were strapped to. Where were their rights? Did God abandon them? No, he never abandoned us. He never leaves us or forsakes us. Jesus was not subtle or quiet about this. He told them plainly that you would be persecuted, that you will face trials of many kinds. He says in John chapter 15, verse 18, "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first." Jesus said that no servant is greater than the master. And we need to understand that simply because we live in a time where we have rights, the rights is a byword for the age that we must ultimately understand that we are not promised a persecution-free life. We might face tremendous persecution in our life. I will also surmise that never before have I seen the Christian church under more in America under a bigger microscope. And never before in my lifetime have I seen the negative narrative that is out there for Christianity like I have in America ever before. I still don't think we're at the place where ancient Israel was. I don't think we're at the place where the large majority of the world is in terms of biblical persecution, but it certainly is tracking in a downward trend. And in James chapter 1, verse 2, it says, "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy." So, yeah, you're going to be mocked and made fun of because of your Christian values and character and because of your stand for Christ. You may be persecuted. And in some cases, there's a time that may come where you could be imprisoned or even killed for the confession of faith in Jesus Christ. I mean, that's what's happening in our world. Tens of thousands of brothers and sisters in different parts of the world die every year just because they have said yes to Jesus. They're not bothering anybody. They're not even proselytizing. They're not preaching anything. They just are in possession of a Bible, or they are caught in an underground church, or they are questioned with a gun pointed to their head. And they're asked, "Are you a follower of Christ?" Have you ever thought about why there's so much vitriol against the Christian worldwide? Why there is so much hatred to the point of killing Christians and Jewish people all around the world? Where does that come from? Why is there this consorted hate? And again, it goes back to kind of what I was sharing yesterday in our sermon. At the end of the day, everything boils down to two worlds. There is a world of evil and there is a world of light. There is good and there is bad. There is the Lord God Almighty and there is Satan. And those two worlds are at odds with each other, and more odds, they are at war with each other. And currently, in this current state where we're in, Satan has the land deed to the earth. When Adam and Eve sinned in the Garden of Eden, they surrendered the land deed of the earth over to Satan, and he became the prince of the power of the air. And we talked about that. And now he has control on this earth. That's why there's temptation. That's why there's all of this. Now, we have a church. The church has continued to rise up. The church has continued to exist. It's continued to get stronger and stronger. In fact, the church actually grows in persecution. Historically, the church grows through persecution, and the church shrinks through quietness and when there's tremendous times of peace. But when the church is under attack, it begins to grow. But my point is this, is that the church of Jesus Christ and the rulers of this world it's all spiritual, and they're very much at loggerheads with each other because it's eternity that's at stake. So when we talk about this stuff, we need to understand that it's way, way bigger than a political angle, or bigger than money, or bigger than a job, or bigger than governmental power or control. The reason that there's so much persecution of the Christian is because there is power in the Christian, and the best way to pump out the power, or to pummel the power, is to evoke fear and separate, divide and conquer. And so there's a witch hunt that goes out, and a demonizing of the things of God. How ironic is that, right? And so the Sermon on the Mount needs to be a wake-up call for the church of today. If we don't start living by the words that Christ spoke up on the Mount, then we're going to become like the world, and we're going to fade in the grass. Like just like in the summertime, when the grass fades and it burns up, we'll fade like that. So the idea of just playing church or just going through the motions, that day's over, man. that the time of just pretending to be a Christian or being lukewarm, those days are over. The time to serve yourself and the idols that you fashioned for yourself, those days are over. You either are on the side of the Lord or you are an enemy of God. You either love him or you hate him. You're either for him or you're against him. You're either all in or you're all out. There really is no middle ground. So I encourage you, in the words of Joshua, to say this: choose ye today whom you will serve. And if that service to the Lord means persecution, count it all joy, man. That's a blessing. It is a privilege to be counted worthy to suffer because you have done what God has called you to do. And I'll tell you, people don't understand that unless they understand the love of Christ. And when you understand the Lord, you're like, man, this temple that I live in, this time that I'm on this earth, it is but a blip in the timeline of eternity. And if I have to suffer and die because of my stand for Christ, well, then I count it all joy. That's a blessing to be counted worthy to do that for my Lord. And so that's kind of the teachings on the Sermon on the Mount, or at least the Beatitudes portion of the Sermon on the Mount. And he just gets more offensive after that. So, but we're going to kind of close out this section of our daily devotions. And I see that several others have joined on. It's good to see you, Paula and Izzy. Nice to have you on today. Sandy Ames is on with us. Ben Smith, Andrew Lavish, good to have you guys. Timothy, Michelle, good to have you. Hey, good to see you, Dad. Glad you're on today. Denise and Yvonne, nice to have you guys. Dave and Laura DeFelice, nice to see you guys on today. God bless all of you. Thank you guys for being on this stream today and for starting your week off. Listen, if you don't have to go outside, it's kind of a mess out there. But if you do have to go outside, be careful and take your time. All right. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful beginning of your week, and I will see you tomorrow. God bless you.